Young and the Restless, YNR. Spoilers note that Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, has devised quite the plan to bring Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, down. From the looks of it, it seems he's hoping to attack Chabot and split up Jack's family and marriage, which will likely cause Abbott to relapse. But will this plan backfire on the mustache in a big way? The Young and the Restless spoilers, there's so much history between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. YNR spoilers suggest that Newman and Abbott have an iconic soap rivalry that is being rehashed. Victor is very bitter about the fact that Jack drank and popped pills in front of Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, as her AA sponsor, but most realized that he took that extreme measure to open her eyes, so she'd go to rehab. The plan worked, however. Victor, and Diane Abbott, Susan Walters, for that matter, saw the move as dangerous and stupid. While it's unclear why Victor is so bent on ruining Jack's life at this point. Regardless, Victor has revenge on the mind, and there's nothing anyone can do to change this. YNR spoilers, Nikki Newman feels like she owes Jack Abbott. If Nikki finds out about what Victor is up to, this will cause massive problems in their relationship. Still, even if Nikki doesn't find out about what the mustache is doing, if Jack falls off the wagon because he's lost his business, wife, and son, she'll run to be by his side and help him during his difficult time. Victor seems to think success for him is ruining Jack's life, but this may end up biting him in the butt, as Nikki will be relentless in her efforts to save her ex-hubby, as he did for her. In fact, if she finds out Victor was behind everything that caused Jack's crisis, the mustache may not only be pushing Nikki by Abbott's side, but he might also be pushing her into his arms. Will this revenge plan end up biting Victor in the butt? Join the discussion below. Tune into the popular CBS soap daily and check out this site regularly for the best Young and the Restless spoilers and news. Victor Newman was a man who thrived on power and control. Over the years, he had built an empire, commanded respect, and instilled fear in anyone who dared to cross him. However, his latest attempt to protect his family and his legacy would take an unexpected turn, leading to a series of events that would shake the very foundation of the Newman clan. Victor's plan had been simple: eliminate any threats to his family's stability. For Victor, that meant neutralizing Jack Abbott, his longtime rival, whose presence in Genoa City had always been a thorn in Victor's side. Jack had recently faced another bout of personal turmoil, one that could potentially weaken him further: his ongoing struggle with sobriety. Victor knew that Jack's vulnerability presented the perfect opportunity to strike. If he could push Jack to his breaking point, it would create chaos within the Abbott family and weaken their power. The Newmans would remain on top, untouchable as always. But Victor had underestimated the situation and the people involved, particularly his own wife, Nikki. Nikki Newman had endured more than her share of pain and hardship throughout her life. She had stood by Victor through thick and thin, even when his schemes and manipulations had nearly destroyed their family. But Nikki had a soft spot for Jack, despite their tumultuous history. She understood the pain of addiction, the constant battle to maintain control, and the devastating consequences of relapse. So, when she overheard Victor discussing his plan to exploit Jack's weakness, she knew she had to act. Nikki confronted Victor, her eyes blazing with anger. But at what cost, Victor? Nikki's voice trembled with emotion. You're willing to destroy a man's life just to keep your precious empire intact. What about Jack's children? What about our children? This is madness. Victor sighed, his resolve unwavering. Nikki, you've always had a soft spot for Jack. But this is business, not personal. I'm doing this for us, for our family. Nikki shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes. No, Victor. This isn't about family. This is about control. And I can't stand by and watch you destroy another life. I won't. Victor watched in silence as Nikki turned and left the room, her footsteps echoing through the corridors of the Newman ranch. He knew that Nikki's compassion for Jack ran deep, but he had never expected her to defy him like this. Nikki's departure was not just a walkout, it was a statement. She packed a small suitcase and made her way to the Abbott mansion, where she found Jack sitting alone in the dimly lit living room, a glass of whiskey in hand. "Jack, what are you doing?" Nikki's voice broke through the silence, startling him. Jack looked up, his eyes bloodshot and weary. "Nikki, I didn't expect to see you here. It's late." "I came because I was worried about you," Nikki replied, sitting down beside him. "Victor is planning something that could push you over the edge. And I'm not going to let that happen." Jack's grip on the glass tightened, but he didn't take another sip. "Victor never misses a chance to kick me when I'm down. But this time it feels different." Nikki placed a hand on his arm, her touch gentle and reassuring. "You don't have to go through this alone, Jack. I know what it's like to struggle with addiction, to feel like you're drowning. But you can fight this. You've done it before, and you can do it again." Jack sighed, his shoulders slumping in defeat. "I've tried, Nikki. God knows I've tried. But every time I think I'm in control, something happens, and I'm right back where I started." Nikki's voice was firm but compassionate. "You're stronger than you think, Jack. And you have people who care about you, people who want to see you succeed. Don't let Victor win by giving in to your demons." Jack met her gaze, a flicker of hope in his eyes. "You really think I can do this?" "I know you can," Nikki said with conviction. "But you have to want it. You have to fight for it." As the night wore on, Nikki stayed by Jack's side, offering support and encouragement. They talked about the past, about their shared struggles, and about the future, a future where Jack could reclaim his life and his dignity. And slowly, the weight on Jack's shoulders began to lift. Meanwhile, Victor was growing increasingly frustrated. Nikki's refusal to support his plan had thrown a wrench in his strategy, and he found himself questioning whether he had miscalculated. He had always prided himself on being one step ahead of everyone else, but this time, things were slipping out of his control. The next day, Victor received word that Nikki had been seen entering the Abbott mansion. His blood boiled at the thought of his wife choosing to help Jack rather than stand by him. He knew he had to confront her, to make her see reason. Victor arrived at the Abbott mansion, his anger barely contained. He found Nikki and Jack in the living room, talking quietly. Jack looked healthier, more focused, and there was a spark in his eyes that Victor hadn't seen in a long time. "Nikki, what are you doing here?" Victor demanded, his voice cold and authoritative. Nikki stood up, facing her husband with determination.